Hi, thank you for joining us for the Dover Fueling Solutions Driving Connectivity, Optimizing Wetstock Management and Tank Gauging Solutions LinkedIn Live discussion with Fergus Heading, DFS Director for ATG Business Development, and Andrew Fawcett, DFS Senior Management Business Development Wetstock. To get started, Fergus, what are the benefits of installing an ATG on a forecourt?
Hi, Sarah. I think the simplest and possibly best description is visibility. With an automatic tank gauge or ATG on site, we have a real-time view of the current stock, any alarms that may have happened, any deliveries that may be ongoing or have occurred. And we also look after, more importantly, the health and safety of our teams on site, removing the need to manually dip tanks and expose team members to dangerous locations, such as busy forecourts. Adding in the management of the stock and ordering fuel when it's needed and not because it's a Friday makes a more connected site a more efficient site.
And why is there a reluctance in some markets to do this?
It's probably knowledge and understanding and maybe the perceived cost. In our world, we need to prove to the site owner that and operators that automation is key to managing a busy fuel site. This, it releases staff from mundane tasks such as dipping tanks, as we mentioned, or recording dispenser totalizers, letting them assist and help customers, providing an enhanced experience and hopefully generating a loyal customer base.
ATG solutions have come a long way. So how do you manage customer requirements?
So from the DFS Pro Gauge family, we have a full range of solutions available, from wireless probes offering legacy sites or sites a cost-effective solution by adding tank gauges without the need to complete any major work, such as installing ducting or cabling, to the new fully loaded MagLink LX Ultimate, offering customers features such as CSLD, which is continuous statistical leak detection, a leak detection method that runs in the background, and PLLD, which is pressure line leak detection, giving customers that peace of mind that by installing an ATG solution, we've got you covered. ATGs also help to manage today's modern and busy forecourts. As with all Pro Gauge ATG solutions, the consoles can seamlessly and without the need to add any extra hardware send data in real time to the DX platform and Wetstock management service.
And Andy, what can be achieved by utilizing the link between ATG and Wetstock management?
Yeah, I think Fergus touched on it earlier. For me, it's more about efficiencies and automation and data, ultimately. As the sites and the markets progress from a manual procedure of perhaps dipping tanks with a dipstick, which obviously comes with its inaccuracies in recording. The human eye is very accurate, but not as accurate as some of the tank gauging equipment in terms of the points of the levels it can read. But it's HSSE risk as well from that perspective. So you don't want, in an ideal world, your site staff to be out on site once, twice, 3 times a day, dipping tanks in all sorts of weather, putting themselves at risk, which obviously, again, doesn't help with the inaccuracies of the reading. So going from that manual journey to an automated journey, it allows for that data also to be available in real time rather than after the fact. So traditionally, if you're dipping a tank, you'd only have real access to those readings once a day, perhaps. However, with a tank gauge, you have real-time access to stock levels, real-time access to alarms. You have access to your sales as well. You have real-time visibility of sales, all potentially in one place. So it not only allows them to access real-time data, but also streamline their whole end-to-end process from operations perspective in terms of delivery scheduling, reconciliation of their wet stock, monitoring of alarms, management of equipment. So for me, it's all about the optimization of the data and the accuracy of the data that it can collect in comparison to a tank gauge.
Okay, and what other solutions can be leveraged with data from a site?
Yeah, so as you can see from this slide, this in particular focuses on not just wet stock reconciliation, but the ability to collect real-time data from the tank gauges and the other devices at site. And that allows other parts of the business and some of our business partners to utilize that data in real time to complete their tasks on behalf of the customer as well. So you'll see on the screen we've got planning and optimization and the logistics control. So if you can consider the amount of data that comes from site from a tank gauge in terms of live stock level readings, coincide that with live sales information as well and delivery history, and you can imagine that the accuracy of the scheduled deliveries are going to be far more superior than they have been with any other level of service without a tank gauge before. Also allows for price management tools as well to come into play in real time. Again, having access to the stock that you have underground in real time to enable you to identify, the cost of the fuel underground, how much stock you have, how much stock you may need to order next time around at a most efficient time to do so. And from a monitoring perspective, again, from looking at the other equipment at site, the uptime of the devices, the impact of those devices being perhaps down or faulty, impact on the sales and where that needs to be resolved for your stocks. Obviously, that information all comes from the tank gauges as well. So everything really that goes towards having access to real-time data, in particular stock levels, alarms, sales information, delivery information. There's much more you can do with that beyond your traditional HSSE Wetstock compliance tools.
Yeah, that's great.
How can Wetstock management and tank gauging solutions take a fuel retailer from leak detection to leak prevention?
Good question, Kit. And if we go back to a question that was asked a very long time ago by a customer at Unity, was why should we purchase your tank gauge? And uniquely, we asked him, can we ask you a question first? And he said, yeah. He said, well, why do you want a tank gauge or why do you need it? And he said nobody had ever asked him. So tank gauging has a traditional story about inventory and it measures stock, but we go much further than that. So with solutions that I touched on, like CSLD, so continuous statistical leak detection, and more importantly, PLLD, which is pressure line leak detection, the system is actively working in the background to detect and try and prevent any loss of fuel on site, therefore making the site much more safer, a better environmental solution, and less risk to the retailer.
Yeah, and from a Wetstock perspective, obviously, when those alarms and alerts and equipment do produce these alerts and potentially close the equipment down at site, or certainly generate alerts to give the customer the understanding that something is happening, from a Wetstock perspective, we're there also to validate those alarms, inform the customer of how big an issue it is, what they need to do to resolve that. We obviously validate with the additional Wetstock related information that we have to see if this is an ongoing problem, something that can be fixed on a particular piece of equipment, or is something a bit more widespread. So prevention as well of equipment downtime. If we look at the traditional nozzles that may go out of use at particular times because the flow rates have dropped, you can now see in advance flow rate trends. So how fast or slow is my fuel being dispensed? Is there a downward trend? Maybe I send my engineers to site to review and change the filters on some of those dispensers, depending on how that flow rate is performing and the trend it's going in. So it's all about preventative maintenance and predictive maintenance as well. So again, as Fergus said, it's not just about stopping the leaks when they occur, but it's about finding them as soon as they can if they do happen.
Yeah, of course. Well, this has been incredibly insightful. So thank you both for your time today. For anyone listening who's interested in learning more about our Wetstock management and tank gauging solutions, make sure to visit the DFS stand at this year's Unity Expo. We're in Hall 5, stand 5C10, and the expo takes place from the 14th to the 16th of May. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you.